Hello, Cookies here. This is Sire Denathrius on normal. This is just a quick overview on some cool like discipline priest tricks that you can do on this fight, just to kind of help you out, to really help you as a discipline priest shine on this fight. So the first major thing is you're gonna really need spirit to be running Spirit Shell, Mindbender with the new Clarity of Mind legendary. So if you don't have those combinations, you can still make some of these ideas work, but a lot of it's going to be reliant on Spirit Shell. And that's because the first major thing that we're going to do is you can see when the pull timer starts here, we're actually just going to start spamming power word shields on the raid. And here, I will just fast forward this just a tiny bit. Here it goes. So you can see here once the pull timer starts, I'm just getting innervated pre-pull. I asked one of my druids to innervate me, and now I'm just spamming power word shield, and I'm essentially doing a ramp before the fight starts. I kind of messed it up because it was mistimed. I didn't know when the pull timer was going to start. But the point remains the same. We're going to apply Radiance to everybody, or we're going to apply Atonements to everyone in the raid. And then we are just going to go straight into our cooldowns, Spirit Shell, Mindbender, Mind Blast. We're using, Schism, Mind Games, all that stuff. And you can see the amount of healing that I'm doing right here. We pretty much absorbed all of the damage from the first ads. And having that kind of pre-ramp lets your other healers just focus on doing damage instead of healing anyone. And then the rest of this fight, it's going to be really sloppy for me, and that's because I was helping raid lead this for a group of friends because they have not done it before. So I pretty much lose complete focus on, my own play because of that, but we'll still talk about some of the core concepts. So what you should be doing in between your ramps, so you can see here that I made another mistake already, and that's just because I'm not paying attention to this kind of stuff, which is basically you do this first ramp, and then after the first ramp, you should only use one Radiance charge, which I already did. I used it to heal the next frontal. So I should not use this Radiance charge here. And that's because I want 2 Radiance charges for every time Spirit Shell's up. And the way you do that, if you watch the how to ramp video that I uploaded a couple days ago, you're essentially going to, use Spirit Shell, use your cooldowns, and that's going to be with 2 Radiance charges to help, hit the entire raid. And then you use 1 Radiance charge in between that downtime until your cooldowns are ready again. But if you use 2 Radiance charges like this, you're going to have Spirit Shell and Mindbender ready, and you're only going to be able to use it with 1 Radiance charge. And then the other thing that's worth noting is with Spirit Shell and Mindbender and these, this legendary setup, is you need to apply all your atonements early. I would say 7 to 10 seconds before the damage actually happens to the raid, which I'm not going to be doing at all. Again, just not paying attention to that kind of stuff. But that's the whole goal in mind, is so here I should be using another Radiance charge, which I do, and then now we should save Radiance. So we don't want to use this charge because we want 2 charges for when Spirit Shell is ready. And we can see if that ends up happening. I end up using it again, so you can see here it just gets scuffed from here. So normally we would save that Radiance charge, and then now we have 14 seconds left on our ramp. And we have Cleansing Pain happening in 10 seconds. So while we're moving here and running away from Ravage, we should already be pre-hotting or pre-putting atonements and powered shields on the entire raid. And then it would carry over here. We apply, 7-ish atonements depending on the group size. And then Cleansing Pain is about to happen. So here we should have already, essentially right when we're done dodging that Ravage, we should be pressing our 2 Radiance charges, refreshing our dot on the boss, and then going straight into Spirit Shell, Mindbender, and our cooldowns. And that is so that you apply this huge Absorb Shield like we saw at the beginning of the poll to the raid, and then when this happens, no one loses HP and you just do a ton of HPS, rather than just having half the raid hit and Spirit Shell is applying, these shields that are still useful, but not nearly as useful as if you built them up a lot more. And so that's how you do phase 1 with Spirit Shell, and then we can talk a little bit about phase 2. So here, what you're going to be wanting to ramp for is every Hand of Destruction. I believe Hand of Destruction happens every minute, maybe even later than that. So this gives you plenty of time to have Spirit Shell ready for it. So, we deal with these first ads, and then we're going to have Hand of Destruction here. So this is where we should have already been ramping. So when the ads spawn, we should just be, helping DPS, helping our raids stay alive if we need to, use 1 Radiance charge during this time. We may have enough time to use both and just do a small ramp. You can see I already wasted my Spirit Shell and stuff. And then what we would do is here is where we'd start ramping, and we would already probably be finishing ramping right here, and then the boss pulls us in, we run away, and then maybe this is where we finish like with our last radiance, and then we go into all of our cooldowns, or probably even before then. We probably want to ramp and hit the boss, so let's back this up just a little bit. So we run over here, we start DPSing ads, and then we have Hand of Destruction. This is where we should already be done with our ramp and hitting the boss with all of our, you know, major damaging abilities, and have Spirit Shell and Mindbender going. So I had kind of the right idea, but I just used it way too early, because you want Spirit Shell. You should be pressing Spirit Shell at this point when Hand of Destruction has about like I would say about 7 seconds left on it, because then you get pulled towards the boss, you got to run away, and you don't want those shields to fall off during that time, and then it explodes, and that's where you want the shield to be the most effective. So this is where we'd be finishing the ramp. This is where we'd be like just hitting the boss with a bunch of smites, and then we get pulled in, we run away, and then maybe we hit the boss with like a penance on the way over if it's like back off cooldown, and then now the whole raid would be topped off with all those, you know, all those Spirit Shell absorbs on them. And then again, we're just going to wait till Hand of Destruction, because it's literally like exactly a minute out from the last one. So now we just spend like 1 Radiance charge and just get it on cooldown again. And then we go, you know, in from there. And then in the last phase also, it's the same thing. So in phase 1, we're ramping for the ad spawns, which is from the frontal that the boss does. And then in the second and third phase, we should be ramping and using our major cooldowns for every single Hand of Destruction, and that's the entire fight. So that's how you prepare to ramp for this fight and know what abilities to be using. Don't follow what I was doing at all. I did an awful job. I still did a lot of healing, but this could have been a fight where I easily did, like, I think I got a 97 parse on a normal kill, but that's probably just because we killed it. I mean, we didn't even kill it that fast. I don't know. I played terribly, and there's nothing to say about it besides I should have done a lot better, and I could have easily been doing like 7k HPS on this fight if I ramped properly and just, you know, took my time with it and wasn't raid leading. So that's this fight, and hopefully that helps you guys kind of get things set up. I know I rambled on a little bit too long, so it probably confused a lot of people, but hopefully you can kind of pin, you know, the right things from this video, and hopefully it helps you set up what game plan or what strategy you want to go for playing Disc Priest on this fight. So thank you for watching, and have a good one. And I will have a heroic Sire Denathrius kill up very, very soon, within the next week or two, and I will do a commentary on that, because that'll be a much more complicated fight. So we'll go through like a very in-depth analysis of that. So thank you guys again. Have a good one.